guys, Sebastian here from Walgreens Vintage. Welcome to our gallery. In today's video, we'll be talking about two of the most iconic single pickup guitars, the Fender Esquire and the Gibson Les Paul Junior. The Fender Esquire, in particular, this one here is a custom shop. It's a 59 reissue. It's a very simple guitar. In fact, I would say it's as simple as it gets. It's just a slab of wood with the neck bolted onto it, one pickup, and then a volume and a tone. There's also this switch right here that you might be thinking, what does that do if the guitar only has one pickup? And in reality, what the switch does is that it allows you to play around with the configuration of the volume and the tone to get a little bit more variation. So when you're in the middle, it's like your traditional telly, volume and tone. When you're in the bridge, you're bypassing the tone, so you get a bit more output. It's a little bit brighter. And then when you're in the neck position, it's basically the pickup wired to the tone control rolled all the way off. So it's a very muffled and dark sound. And it sounds like this, actually. It reminds me a lot of Cream and Eric Clapton, kind of like that, woman tone with the tone rolled off all the way down. Then in the middle position, it's just the bridge pickup. It's a traditional telly. Then when you go to the bridge, you notice a little bit more output. It's almost like a subtle solo boost in a way. It's a sound that I like a lot. It's a lot more quacky and snappy. So let's talk about the reasons why you would want to get a single pickup guitar. And the reality is that it's all about simplicity and about just being creative with very simple tools. But the fact that you're so limited by the options, makes you want to be a little bit more creative in the way you're playing. What I mean by that is, every single detail of your nuance, like where you're picking, how hard you're doing it, where your controls are at, everything makes it different, and it's important when you play a guitar like this. So for example, notice the difference of when I play closer to the bridge or when I'm playing closer to the neck. It sounds very different. It almost sounds like I have a neck pickup if I play closer to the neck. And it's not exactly the sound of a neck pickup, but I feel like it's a much more subtle effect. And it's almost like most of your sound is really in your hands in this case. And with this guitar, the fact that you have this really cool switching system, you can go from a sound that has the tone rolled off, a little bit, So again, you have all those options with just one pickup. And I find that very challenging and fun, and it's kind of refreshing. If you've been used to regular guitars with multiple pickups like a Strat or a Les Paul or whatever, really, only having one pickup is gonna feel very different. And in my opinion, I enjoyed that challenge, and I find that the sound that you get out of these guitars is very interesting too. We're not gonna get into the physics of what happens when you remove a pickup and how that affects the strings and the resonance of the guitar, but the truth is that we do hear a difference, And in the case of this Esquire compared to a Telecaster, for some reason, the Esquire has just a little bit extra. It's almost like, you're getting a little bit extra punch and oomph. And, not that Tellies don't have that, and I'm not comparing every single Telecaster to a Esquire, obviously there's gonna be some difference in there, but for the most part, you do hear that difference. All right, so now talking about the Les Paul Junior. This right here, it's a Murphy Lab 57 reissue, finished in TV yellow. That is just a killer guitar. At first sight, you might think this is a vintage instrument, but no, all the relic, it's made at the Murphy Lab, and it just feels and sounds, and everything about it is just phenomenal. Now, similar to an Esquire, the Les Paul Junior is just a slab of wood with a pickup mounted in the body. It's not even drilled in, with a simple control, just volume and tone. And then, a very straightforward guitar, no maple cap, no anything. It's really as simple as it gets for a Gibson. And back then, these guitars were designed for children. They were kind of like a bare bones version of a Les Paul that had just the minimum that you needed in order to make an electric guitar. And for some reason, you know, I feel like accidentally created an instrument with this unique voice that also appealed to professional players. And as soon as you pick up a Junior, you realize that this is not like a regular Les Paul. It has something very different to it. Even to a Special, which will be, you know, it's, I guess, dual pickup counterpart, it has something very different. And the differences between those two guitars in design is not much. You know, the Special has a neck pickup, and those two pickups are, you know, drilled within a cavity on the body of the guitar. In the case of the Junior, the bridge pickup is mounted on top. So I feel like those subtle differences on paper might not mean much, but they do make a difference sonically. And again, we're not physicists here. We're not trying to explain why the resonance of the guitars might change from one pickup to the other. We're just explaining you what we perceive with our ears. And yeah, there is a big difference. Juniors don't sound the same as Specials, and they have a little bit more bark and just like this slightly, you know, growly attitude to them that other Les Pauls don't have. Another thing that it has is that you don't have any switches, or it's just very simple as far as the controls. So for example, if you're playing music that requires you to, you know, really play hard and hit the guitar with a certain attitude, the fact that there's no switches that you can accidentally trigger while playing, it's a great thing. I mean, look at players like Billy Joel Armstrong, for example, from Green Day. You know, I think part of the reason why he plays a Junior is that it's just the simplicity goes hand in hand with the style of music that he plays. And again, I just want to invite you guys to try one of these out. There's something very special about them, you know, something that is hidden within the simplicity of the guitar, and that it just forces you as a player to be a little bit more creative. And you know, you might find this very fun, just trying to get new and different sounds with very limited options here. So yeah, with that said, let's just play for a bit so you guys can hear what this guitar sounds like. And then, by the way, we'll be running it through this Falcon 20, which is pretty much dime, so you guys can hear natural overdrive. These amps pair perfectly with the Gibson, and they sound fantastic. So yeah, let's go ahead and play it. Just like with the Esquire, there's a lot of differences here when it comes to where you're playing. Again, if you play closer to the bridge, it's gonna sound very different than if you play closer to the neck. I remember a few years ago seeing the Rolling Stones play live, and the way Keith Richards play, his guitar is like really low, and the way he hits it, he's really playing like on the neck, and the sound, it was very, you know, very unique, and you're gonna notice how there's a big difference. So let me show you guys. It's not as big as, for example, switching from a bridge pickup to a neck pickup, but you're getting a difference within the context of that same pickup. You know, it's happened to me many times where I'm playing a Les Paul, for example, at a live show, and I'm going from a lead part on the bridge down, you know, up to the neck sound for a verse, and the sound is so different. You know, there tends to be a lot of difference sometimes in those type of guitars where like the neck just sounds way too dark and woolly compared to the bridge pickup, to a point where like whether the neck sounds good and the bridge sounds thin, or the bridge sounds good and the neck sounds too dark. And with this, you're getting all those subtleties within that same context, within that same pickup. So I find that very interesting, very musical, and it's all happening with your hands, you know, where you're playing. You don't have to flip a switch or nothing like that. It's all happening here. And I find that really, really cool. I love these guitars. I think you guys might love them too. If you get a chance, definitely check them out. I think they might surprise you. If you like these two particularly, they're available for sale on our website. The links are down below in the description. If you guys go to wildgracevintage.com, you'll be able to find amazing things. We're talking about all of these cars, vintage watches, coffee, and many more cool things. So yeah, definitely you guys check it out, wildgracevintage.com. If you guys want to support this channel, give us a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and follow us on Instagram at @wildgracevintage for more content like this. My name is Sebastian. Until next time.